everyone. My name is Jimmy Canizera. I'm an advisor with Fulcrum Risk Solutions. During this presentation, I'm going to be breaking down cyber liability, providing some coverage highlights, and even some claim examples. Let's get started. What is cyber liability coverage? Cyber liability covers financial losses that result from data breaches and other cyber events. Most cyber policies include both first-party and third-party coverages. Coverage is intended for any company storing, accepting, or transferring data in any form, even if you partner with a third-party vendor. Also, companies with a web presence or performing e-commerce activities. Coverage can include network and server failure, multimedia liability, unauthorized obstruction of customer information, notification costs, restoration costs, extortion expenses, business interruption, and even regulatory fines and penalties. The rating basis normally includes overall revenues, but can sometimes within the healthcare industry go off of the number of physicians. Cyber exposures can include data breaches, intellectual property rights, damages to a third-party system, system failure, cyber extortion, and even business interruption. In the event of a breach, notification of the affected parties is now required by law. This will add to costs that will also include security fixes, identity theft protection for the affected, and protection from possible legal action. While companies operating online are at a heightened risk, even companies that don't transmit personal data over the internet but still store it in electronic form could be susceptible to breaches through data lost to unauthorized employee access or hardware theft. Your company's online presence, whether it be through a corporate website, blogs, or social media, opens you up to some of the same exposures faced by publishers. This can include libel, copyright or trademark infringement, and defamation, among other things. Many businesses rely on systems and networks outside their own to operate. When these systems fail, it can cause downtime and loss of revenues. Outside vendors often contractually limit their liability for outages. However, a properly structured cyber liability policy could afford coverage for business interruption and expenses to get back up and running. Hackers can hijack websites, networks, and stored data, denying access to you or your customers. They often demand money to restore your systems to working order. This can cause a temporary loss of revenue plus generate costs associated with paying the hacker's demands or rebuilding if damage is done. If your primary business operations require the use of computer systems, a disaster that cripples your ability to transmit data could cause you or a third party that depends on your services to lose potential revenue. From a server failure to a data breach, such an incident can affect your day-to-day operations. Time and resources that normally would have gone elsewhere will need to be directed towards the problem, which could result in further losses. This is especially important as the denial of service attacks by hackers have been on the rise. Such attacks block access to certain websites by either rerouting traffic to a different site or overloading an organization's server. Typically, a traditional commercial general liability policy will afford you coverage for business interruption, intellectual property damage, and similar losses. However, insurance are avoiding liability related to cyber claims by including specific exclusions for this coverage. Therefore, review of your policy is necessary and a standalone coverage solution considered. Here's a business interruption claims example. A communications company sues for lost revenue and expenses to recover billing files for wireless customers that were deleted by their software vendor. In this particular claim, $750,000 was paid out in indemnity costs. $150,000 was paid out in defense costs, all covered under the policy. Another example, related to compromised data, a private healthcare clinic was hacked and social security numbers and personal info from patient files were stolen. The hacker sold the information to an internet website which used it to create false identities for criminals to use. This business incurred notification and credit monitoring costs and the legal expenses as well as the damages from potential lawsuits resulted in more than $500,000 in damages. And that's the end of the presentation. Hope you all enjoyed the content and thank you for your time. Feel free to reach out via email or on LinkedIn. We'd be happy to review your current policy, discuss any ways that we can improve upon coverage, and even discuss new solutions for you. Hope you all have a wonderful day.